Hi, I'm Juan Martinez, and this is Hard Work, More Money.
Ask for money and get advice. Ask for advice, get money twice. I'm from the dirty, but that Chico nice. Y'all call it a moment, I call it life.
How are we doing today?
Great.
Are you guys alive?
Yes.
Okay. So how is your production year to date? So we're almost 3 full months into it. So my question is, how many listings have you taken year to date? Are you on track? Are you on track right now based on your goals for the year? If your goal is to close 50 transactions this year, have you closed 12 transactions so far? And a lot of you have goals of hitting 50 deals. Have you closed 12 deals so far? If your goal is to close 30 transactions this year, have you closed at least 7 transactions year to date? It's a question for you. Are you on track? Right? We talked about March Madness and getting back on track, even if things slow down for the month of January and February, to get back on track so that we're focused on our goal for this year. If you're on track, then good for you. Stay focused, keep the pressure on, and don't let up, right? Don't stop. If you're not on track, then what is the plan? If you're not on track right now, what is your plan? Are you going to work twice as hard to get back on track? Are you willing to do that? Are you going to make up the difference within the next few months? I don't know. Are you? Can you make up the difference? Are we a little short, okay, on our goals for this year in closed transactions? Can we make it up in the month of March and April? Okay, can we do that? Are you going to put the time in that's necessary to get you back on track? Are you on track, Ace? I keep looking at you. Okay. See, I want you guys to know it's okay to work hard. It's okay to work hard. Hard work is not going to kill you, right? Hard work is not going to kill you. My father worked 6 to 7 days a week, at times 2 to 3 jobs, okay? Ran a family business, worked 10, 12, 14 hours a day, and he did it for 50 years. Didn't kill him because he's still alive at 74 years old. And today he's a self-made millionaire, okay? And that came through hard work, and that came through sacrifice. So don't be afraid to go to work. Work is good for you, and it keeps you out of trouble. So I want to talk to you today about execution during business hours. Incredibly important, okay? In my opinion, I believe during business hours, this is the time to execute on the business plan that you created for yourself for this year. Business hours, what is that? 9 to 5, 8:30 to 5:30, okay? It's not 2 to 4 p.m., you know. It's not 2 hours, it's 8 hours. It's when business is going on during business hours, okay, office hours. So let's talk about this. What are the 3 things you need to do in order to close a transaction? So what is number 1? What's A?
Pre-qualified.
Okay, that's good. Hold up here. The 3 things in order to get paid.
You got a customer.
Okay, hang in there. 1, let's go over because we've gone through this before. Take listings, right? Second is what?
What buyers?
Contract.
Get the listing sold. And the third thing is put buyers under contract. Good job, lads. 3 things that we do. We take listings, we get them sold, and we put buyers under contract. That is ultimately what gets you paid, right?
Yeah.
Are you with us?
Yeah.
So execution during business hours, okay? Let's think about this. What is execution during business hours? So let's go back to this. Number one, A is taking listings, right? So how do we take listings? Think about this. We have to prospect for them, right? So there's three ways of getting business. Waiting for it, buying the business, or find the business. You guys have been trained to go find the business, right? So how do we take a listing? We have to prospect for it. We have to go out and lead generate and go find the listing. The next thing to taking a listing, we have to do lead follow-up to set the appointment. I knock on the door, I make the call, okay? They tell us to call back next week. I follow up next week and then set the appointment. The majority of appointments are set through lead follow-up, okay? So I am prospecting, I'm doing lead follow-up. Once we set the appointment, we have to call them to do what? Pre-qualify them for motivation to make sure we are not going on a bad appointment, right? So once they're qualified, we go out and what do? We do the listing presentation and we get a contract because we qualified for motivation and we went out to a solid appointment. Okay, so we did A, we took the listing, right? So there's a few items here that we did to take the listing. What is B? B is
Selling.
getting the listing sold, okay? What are the steps of getting a listing sold? First, you price it right when you go out and present, right? So you go out your presentation, you gotta learn to price it right. Second, you call your seller on a weekly basis and you're gonna give them updates and you're gonna ask for a
Price reduction.
price reduction. That's right. So getting a listing sold, you gotta ask for the price reductions. And you gotta call them every week. And then third, you, on listing sold, you price it right, you get the reductions, and what happens?
You get a buyer.
Offers come in. So you have to negotiate the offer, right? And place that listing under contract. Okay? So now are the three things we've done: take listings, we put the listing under contract, and then C is what? Placing buyers into escrow, right? So how do you put a buyer under contract? So let's do this. So one, we have to, you gotta find a buyer. How do you do it? You gotta prospect, okay? Then you have lead follow-up. Same thing. Then you gotta qualify for motivation and of course a loan. Then you gotta do a buyer presentation, just as you would present for a listing. Then you gotta show property, right? And you gotta do it in an efficient and effective way. And then you find the property, what do you have to do? You have to negotiate the contract. And that's how you get the buyer under contract. So let's place these items of listings taken, listings sold, and buyers under contract, and let's put them together and see what we come up with. So here are the action items to make those three things happen. Number one thing is what? Prospect. Number two is lead follow-up. Number three is pre-qualifying. Number four is listing and buyer presentations. You got to present to a buyer strong, just as you're going to present strong to a listing. Number five is price reductions. Number six is negotiations. Number seven is showing properties. Okay? Not the funnest thing to do. So my thoughts are this. During business hours, to me, there's nothing more important than those 7 action items during business hours. That's my opinion, okay? I'm gonna build a daily schedule that revolves around these 7 things. That's it, okay? And this is the only thing that I'm going to do Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, 9 to 5. See, I'm not gonna deviate from these things, okay? Because they're gonna be the most important activities that I do in my business. The moment I deviate, it changes the mindset, it changes the habits, and it completely changes everything that I do. If hitting your goal for 2015 is that important to you, then the 7 action items should be a non-negotiable item. And how many things are you negotiating during business hours that you shouldn't be doing? Remember, for 10 years, a lot of you know, there was only one action item that I did all day long, 5 days a week, 8 to 10 hours a day, because if I knew I did this one thing, what was it? Prospect. Then I could afford to delegate everything else. Okay? Because there's 100 other things that you could do in the business. I'm saying there's only 7 most important things. And I knew of the 7 which was the single most important thing. And that's all I did for 8 or 10 hours. And I went through a process in delegating the other 6, which is not what I'm asking of you. Okay? Until you get to that level. We committed to making 2015 the greatest income year of our lives. A lot of you in here. And as long as we stayed laser focused on these 7 things, then we can do this. We can do this. This is the opportunity of a lifetime. It really is. I believe that for you, Tina and John and Ace and Danilo, you know, for the group that we have been working with for a long time. It's an opportunity to build wealth and an opportunity to build a legacy for you and your family. Okay? And you deserve this. You deserve it 100%. It's yours. We can do this together. Let's keep the pressure on at all times. Let's keep the accountability as high as we can. Let's keep the self-accountability on ourselves. Okay? And don't let up. Keep the pressure strong. Stay focused on what you need to do. Stay focused on the 7 most important things that you could do in your business during a powerful week. Thank you.
Ask for money and get advice. Ask for advice, get money twice. I'm from the dirty, but that Chico nice. Y'all call it a moment, I call it life.